Here's a story that's in the news that I would like to keep going, that's going to take a little bit longer to cover than average, and especially with everybody's attention span kind of waning, we're going to go ahead and take the whole week to cover this topic. On your screen, jury to hear closing arguments in Proud Boys leader's trial. Washington AP. A historic trial over the deadly U.S. Capitol insurrection is drawing to a close, with prosecutors and defense lawyers set to make their final appeals to jurors before they decide the fate of the Proud Boys extremist group leaders charged with plotting to use force to keep then President Donald Trump in power. A federal jury in Washington, D.C. is scheduled to begin hearing closing arguments on Monday after more than 3 months of testimony in the seditious conspiracy case against former Proud Boys national chairman Enrique Tarrio and 4 lieutenants. This is where the article piqued my attention. Tarrio is one of the top targets of the Justice Department's investigation of the riot that erupted at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, as Congress prepared to certify Joe Biden's presidential election victory over Trump. Tarrio wasn't in Washington, D.C. that day, but is accused of orchestrating an attack from afar. The Proud Boys were only the Justice Department's second target behind Rhodes in particular, but here is another AP article. Oath Keepers Rhodes guilty of January 6th seditious conspiracy. Anyone can look into these cases with the court listener records, but if you're only looking at it for surface value, you might miss this one teensy little fact. All of these cases seem to be divvied up between different prosecutors based upon the charges filed. The prosecutor that seems to be handling the highest level offenses is Assistant U.S. Attorney Catherine Ruskowski. In my opinion, it's articles like this that fuel conspiracy controversy. First due diligence, then romance. As the week goes on, you will be able to put the pieces of this puzzle together yourself. But as you can see, this article is from May 3rd, 2015. Catherine Lee Ruskowski and Eric Michael Kennerson were married Saturday evening at the Whitmore House, home of the Women's National Democratic Club in Washington. Frank M. Walsh, a friend of the couple, received authorization from the District of Columbia to officiate. The couple, both 33, are assistant United States attorneys in the Homicide Division of the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. The bride graduated from Harvard and received a law degree from American University. She is the daughter of Aline C. Ruskowski and Stanley G. Ruskowski in New Brighton, Staten Island. The groom graduated from Case Western Reserve University and received a law degree from Georgetown. He is a son of Mary Ann C. Kennerson and Michael W. Kennerson of Clarkson, Michigan. So that information would seem benign on its face until you go to this National Law Journal article from January 27th, 2021. All-in prosecutors' Capitol riot cases bring years of experience and varied backgrounds. For the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, it is required an all-hands effort, pulling in prosecutors with varied expertise and backgrounds, bringing cases over everything from bank robbery and sanctions violations to espionage and murder. In 2018, when then special counsel Robert Mueller accused Russian firms of bankrolling a social media fired campaign to interfere in the 2016 election, Catherine Ruskowski was among the career federal prosecutors in Washington who would join the prosecution team. When Mueller wrapped up his investigation in the following year, Ruskowski took on a more prominent role, personally submitting many of the briefs in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington filed after inheriting the case from Mueller. As we go through the rest of the week, I will be referencing this website quite frequently. This is americangulag.org. As you go through the defendants and the information that is collected on this website in quite a complete fashion, I might add, a few things become crystal clear about Miss Catherine Ruskowski. She seems to be the prosecutor involved in the most serious charging of offenses. The charge they seem to be making stick is the seditious conspiracy charge. This is a Civil War era charge that is rare and can be difficult to prove. It carries a potential sentence of up to 20 years in prison. The Proud Boys also face other serious charges. Now, jurors have heard 50 days of testimony by more than 36 witnesses since the trial started in January. 2 of the 5 defendants testified, but Torino wasn't one of them. We will be going through individual actors during the January 6th week, and we will also be looking at the instance on a whole, how this relates back to the Russian investigation and some of the individual prosecutors like Catherine Rakoski involved in the cases. So I hope that you will join me for the entire week now that things are starting to come to a close. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And on that note, I will catch you guys on the next one.